Doing Time with Deputy Mike.
Hi, welcome back to Doing Time with Deputy Mike. I am Mike along with my posse.
Milani. Elijah.
Shelby.
Interrogation time.
And today we have Shelby with us. She's in welding. Go ahead. Tell us about your class.
I'm a junior in the welding and cutting program. We make a lot of plasma cutted art. We make clocks. We did hearts for Valentine's Day. And we did 4-leaf clovers for St. Patrick's Day.
That's pretty cool. And hopefully somebody's going to be making me a big star. That's kinda cool. I'm working on that. So, you guys do competition and everything. You've done a couple of competitions this year already?
Well, we had our Skills USA people go to Columbus in November for fall conference. We have 2 welding girls in our Skills USA, and then a bunch of engineering kids. And then we had one of our juniors, James O'Neill, go to our regional competition for the welding. And then we have a group of senior boys that went for fabricating. And James won 3rd, and our fabricating team won 1st, and they will get to go to state competition in the beginning of May.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now you guys, where are you guys, like, if you win, where are you guys heading?
If we win at state, we go to nationals, which I'm pretty sure is Georgia this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Dope. Nice.
Is that, you guys, where's your nationals?
This year it's Texas. Next year it's Cali.
So it's always changing for everybody. Oh, see, I just learned something new.
You get to travel.
Yay. So you're hoping to be part of that, correct?
Yeah, we'll get to go, the skills group will get to go to our state competition and hopefully go to nationals if we have a team competing at nationals.
Nice. So go ahead and tell us about yourself. Like, what do you do? Play any sports? What do you like to do for fun?
So I play varsity basketball for Newton Falls. I am a post player. This year I was leading scorer and leading rebounder for my team. My best game this season, I had 26 points.
Nice. Nice.
Got a chair?
Super.
We got like a little yay.
Oh, yeah. Where is it?
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now, you've been playing how many?
I've been playing basketball since I was in 3rd grade, so 9 years now.
9 years.
Yeah, next year will be my senior season, and it's going to be hard to let it go.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting old. I'm about to be a senior.
Yeah. So what else do you do for fun?
I work at a hardware store, which I didn't like when I first started working there, but my coworkers are my best friends, so I love going to work now. I go to work, I go to basketball, and I do schoolwork. It's about
And
my
that's
day.
your life.
Yep, that's what it consists of.
Well, that's actually a lot. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot, but by the time you start adding everything up.
Oh, yeah. For basketball season, I ended up taking almost 3 months off of work. And luckily, my manager was very graceful in letting me skip work for basketball. So.
It is. Now I'm taking that. That's a hometown hardware store.
It's a Ace Hardware.
Ace Hardware. See,
Yeah.
Those are the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice because there's not too many home Ace store. I mean, they got everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like a dying thing, unfortunately, like everything else around here. But
Yeah, our store we're run by a lot of people that live in the town or very close. So we're a very tight knit community.
those are the best stores. I love those stores. So 4 years, you'll be doing basketball 1 more year.
Yeah.
That's rough. We talked about. I don't know if you listened to our first show.
I listened to a couple of them. I don't know if I listened to the first one.
The first one we were talking about that because her big thing was volleyball, and it's rough when you walk out on that stage for the very last time. And it is, I played football, and it's like, man, this is it.
Like our last episode. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it's gonna be rough. I cannot wait to graduate. I'm sorry. I'm ready to get.
You're,
I
well,
want to graduate
you already
tomorrow.
got us like already in at the end of the next year. I don't want to jump that far yet.
I want to graduate by tomorrow.
So, any big plans for the summertime?
Gonna take some trips with my family. We got some trips planned with some of my friends. Go up to Geneva. Hopefully go out for bike week. But other than that, work.
Well, you got a big one. You're going to Texas.
Yeah. My sister is having a baby.
Yeah, you can give a shout out.
Yeah. Love you, Andra.
There you go. That's awesome. And she's in the military.
Yeah. She is a combat engineer in the Army.
Oh, really?
Thank you very much for your service.
Yeah, thanks for your service.
Yes.
Thank you.
So that's awesome. That's going to be exciting. You guys going to be down there for a little while then?
Yeah, we're gonna probably be down there for a couple weeks just to help her get settled and everything.
That's awesome.
Is it her first baby?
Yeah, this is her first baby. I'll be first time being an aunt.
Nice.
Mm.
That is nice.
When did she do?
May 24th.
My niece is due May 22nd
Wow.
or 23rd.
Okay, you guys got to kick it up to May 16th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. I'll
Tell her.
I'll
Yeah.
whisper to the baby. Let her know come out a little bit early.
That's a great day because that's when I was hatched. So,
Wait, so you ride? Do you ride like dirt bikes and all that?
I do not. I rode four-wheelers when I was little, but not much anymore.
so tell us, so your plant, the nice thing about all these labs. So you're doing welding. So tell us about your big dreams because they're pretty good.
Yeah, so once I graduate high school, I want to go into the field. What I want to do is I want to work for an architectural company, and I want to weld on big skyscrapers. So I would be hooked up to a harness, dangling hundreds of feet in the air, welding on big I-beams and stuff like that. Because that's what I want to do. I feel like I want to do something. I want to do something crazy, and have fun with it. Plus, the scarier it is, the more money you make.
That's scary. And you know
Yeah.
what? Let's see. You've only got 110 ways to die. I
Yeah.
mean, you blow yourself up,
Nothing too
fall
crazy.
off and squish.
Yeah, but the thing is I'm scared of underwater welding, but I'll do that. I'll dangle from extreme heights. But as soon as I go underwater and I have no control of what's happening above me, nope. Because that's how somebody steps on your air hose and you're gonna die. So I'd rather be able to depend on myself than somebody else.
Oh, you still got high winds.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, you ever see those pictures like the old pictures from the 40s and the 20s and the 30s where there were the steel workers up there making the big skyscrapers?
Yep, sitting on I-beams. We have one in our lab. I don't know if you ever been to the hot dog shop in Warren.
Oh, yeah.
But there's that picture.
That's
of
what's
them
coming to my
yep,
mind right
we
now.
have that picture in our lab. Mr. Oleski has it hanging on the bulletin board right when you walk in the door.
Really?
Yeah.
I could not imagine. I mean, I used to love heights. Now, I don't know what switched in me. You still throw me on a roller coaster.
I love roller coasters.
But
I hate them.
I don't know, with heights now, it's I don't know, maybe I smartened up somewhere in my life. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, see, it's not the height of roller coasters that I don't like. It's I get extremely motion sick. Cars, boats, anything that moves. If I'm not driving, I get so sick.
We were in Tennessee. We went to Gatlinburg for vacation last year, and we went across that sky bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a what do you call those bridges? It's like the ones with the ropes, kind of. So it sways,
Mm-hmm.
and of course they put the glass floor in the center of it. And they tell you don't swing the bridge, and then you got people out there doing stupid stuff like jumping on it, and it's like
That's like when they say you don't rock the.
yeah, you
roller-
don't rock. Some things you don't rock. It's like don't rock that boat, baby. But I got out there, and literally, I mean, you're looking down, and my legs did. I mean, it's like, and then people aren't moving, And I started, it's like, I won't start having to plow people out of my way. Because I wanted off that bridge.
In Tennessee? Question mark.
Yeah.
I almost went on it. I wanted to. I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, you really just gotta look at the atmosphere around you, and not think about like, oh no.
It's hard to do when you're looking straight down and you realize how fragile life really is. And now she's going to be up even higher, like
Yeah.
with high winds.
Yep, and melting metal together.
Metal. Oh yeah.
Do you want to do that like in like Ohio, or do you plan to leave Ohio?
I plan on moving southern somewhere. Georgia, Alabama is kind of where I want to go. But doing skyscrapers and stuff, you got to be somewhere where they have skyscrapers, so it's probably going to be more of a big city, like New York, it's a place like that.
Place
love
to be
New
one
York.
you'd be probably traveling. I mean,
Oh yeah.
to wherever the
for sure.
business.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could actually be all around the world, truthfully,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool, depending on what country you go to.
Yeah, it can be crazy, especially if you work on the pipelines. You're constantly traveling. I know a lot of people that work on the pipelines that live out of their trucks or have campers and they just drive around.
This is true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. You get to see the world. So
I can't wait. That's what I think I'm most excited for, because I want to be an actress. So like I want to do all that traveling and all that jazz, and to be in the cities. Like skyscrapers are so pretty to me. Like just when we was in Columbus, and that's such a small city, but it was so pretty just looking at the skyscrapers and all the like the lights. Love it.
I like looking at them. Don't like living there.
no,
I like the country.
I'm definitely not a city girl.
No, I
I'm a
like the
city girl.
country. I like the quiet. I like going out where I can see the stars. It's dark. I like listening to the crickets and the frogs.
See, but I like that too. Like I like being outside. Like the stars are my favorite thing ever. But something about that nice, pretty, all those skyscrapers, the windows. It's just
lights.
It click. Oh, the lights.
Well, it's cool. I mean, I like when I went down for training from Columbus, and it's it's cool to kind of be in one of those big buildings and looking out, but it's not where I constantly want to be, because after a while I start feeling closed in. Yeah.
I feel like for me, I'd rather be in the city and then maybe like go back home and like look at the stars every
You're
once in a while.
just a city gal.
I'm just a city girl.
Yeah, when we were in Columbus for skills, our hotel looked right out over the city, and you could see all the buildings, all the lights. And it was pretty, but like, it was, not something that I had to have.
Right.
Like that's where you like, oh, let's go on vacation, let's go to the city, kind of thing.
I couldn't do that. For me, like when I think of going on vacation, I think of going to Tennessee, like going to the country or going to the nature. I don't think of going to the city. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's crazy how different
Yeah.
perspectives.
See, my family's like the complete opposite. Like we we have a good plot of land, we have chickens and random animals, and then when we go on vacation, we go somewhere that's extremely populated, stuff like that.
Extremely populated.
Yeah.
So you're bumping into everybody.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, well. That's like, went to Ocean City.
I never been.
Didn't really, I mean, it's okay. It's like I don't know how you could, like a Myrtle Beach, it's more compressed with less things to do. You got just an almost amount of people, but I mean, literally, you're like imagine being downtown in Columbus, but you got an ocean not far from you. That's how I felt. It was like, didn't even have that ocean-y, feel really.
Right. It was like it was too close.
Too close. And then, there wasn't like really much to do. I was like, Myrtle Beach used to be cool. Now I like North Myrtle Beach, but they took a lot of the old stuff out, like the pavilion and all that. That's all gone. That was cool to go down there, like especially as a kid and a teenager, to kind of hang out, doing your teenage thing. But it's all gone.
Yeah.
And then the beaches are overpopulated now.
Which is weird because I haven't been to a beach since like COVID started.
We did. It was. In fact, we was there, the height of the pennant. It's like,
So you was one of the people that was on watch.
shoot, man, you know what? I cruised around.
You're the reason why they were shutting down beaches.
You know what? No, everybody went safely there, came back safely
Oh,
with no COVID bug whatsoever, and we enjoyed our time and our sunburns. Let's just say that. But the sad thing was, because of COVID, there was less to do too,
Yeah.
because a lot of stuff was shut down because of COVID. COVID destroyed a lot of stuff. I mean,
For sure.
the restaurants weren't as fun because
There was a lot of people that was out or like they couldn't have, which that sucks so much. Is that like a lot of restaurants had to get rid of a lot of food because of COVID.
yeah, so I don't know. What was one of the biggest things we did? We went to one of the little racetrack things where everybody was driving around on
Golf
the race.
carts?
The,
Or go-karts?
like the, yeah, but they had the actually real fast, like the Indianapolis one, like
Oh.
mini cars.
That'd be
Things like-
dope.
they had to sign the waiver to them. Oh yeah, those things are fast. And then they had the go-karts. They had a bunch of tracks, but I mean that was fun. The kids had I
That's
can't
good.
call them kids. My sons and young
Kids.
adults.
The kids.
Yeah, well, I call you guys kids. You're not really kids. I mean, you're young.
We get it.
You ready for the next
I
segment?
call adults kids anymore. It's like, but anyways, so we're ready to move on to the next segment.
The booking.
What's our topic today?
Well, hers is about welding.
Wedding.
Okay.
Welding.
I've been to your guys' class a few times. Every time it's always sparks in the air. I don't know what I'm looking at. I just know I see a bunch of light and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stand behind this line.
Yep. If they see the light coming through the blue curtains, don't go in there. It's not a good plan.
It's definitely warm and it's loud. I mean, you got the presses.
Yeah, we have our shear, which cuts our metal, cuts 1/4 inch metal. So a blade that can cut metal that's that thick is it's gonna be loud. We have the grinders are always going. If you don't wear your earplugs when you're grinding, by the time you get done, everything sounds like you're underwater. And then we have our track burner, which cuts bevels in our metal, which is just like an angle. And then we have welders running and people using their chipping hammers to like knock slag off their welds. So it gets pretty loud in there.
All right, I'm gonna admit something. I stunk at welding. You know, I could what is the gas or the
MIG?
the MIG welder. No, I just burnt holes. Terrible. But the settling.
Yeah.
I could do. I was not bad at that, but you know, when it came to putting in my little toolbox that we had to make together, I cheated. I had my brother do it for me. Yeah, I was like, dude, make my my thing. And he did because he loved it, but I kept burning holes through it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you're sitting here like giving me terms. I don't know anything. I slag what what.
See, this is why they should not take like 8th grade.
Don't even say it. I'm so happy that we don't have to weld.
8th grade, I had to learn how to MIG weld and kind of weld and make pillows and cook.
Yeah.
And I think that
I had a class like that.
yeah, a lot of classes like that are gone, but
Yeah.
they really need to bring them back.
But at the same time, I don't know. I'm kind of happy I don't have to learn how to sew. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm kind of happy I don't have to learn how to sew for no reason.
Someday you're gonna need to sew your pants or something.
I know how to sew. My grandma taught me, but I'm glad I don't have to take a class because I'm not the best sewer. Sewist.
My sister is 2 years older than me, and when she went to Lordstown, she had to take a home ec class
Really?
where they would do like sewing, and they had to like carry water balloons around and not break them, like they were like babies or something.
Now I want to do that
But-
class so bad. Like I want to walk around with the baby bump, the fake baby bump, and like the fake annoying kid thing. My sister had to do that one.
See, I was excited to have that class, but since I had it 2 years later,
You do not look
once I got to
a
it,
home ec.
it was just a cooking class.
Oh.
They didn't do-
Actually, I can sew. And I did take a home ec class. We took care of eggs instead of balloons.
Really?
we did all three. The first one was they did eggs,
Mhm.
and then the second level or whatever they did water balloons, and then the third one they had like the robotic babies or whatever.
Mhm.
My sister
You guys
went
had
to
robotic
Lordstown.
babies.
They're
Yes.
creepy.
And let
Yeah.
me tell you, my sister went to Lordstown and she had one, and I was supposed to be taking care of it. Mind you, I was only like, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12. And like, I went to pick it up, and its neck, I didn't know, I thought it was a regular baby doll. Its neck just snapped back. And I was like, oh no, what do I do?
Yeah,
Killed
they
your
like,
robotic baby.
Stop.
don't they like keep track
Mhm.
of like,
You get points. So like, if your baby's neck broke, like I kind of broke my sister's, you get like half off of your whole thing because you basically just killed your kid.
right?
So
But I
tell,
want one.
sorry, let's get back on track. So tell us. All right, so they're called beads when you're welding.
Okay.
In fact, I was just looking at someone shared a thing on Facebook like of a weld like they did, which was terrible, versus well, actually they fixed a weld. Like they were showing a frame that needed welded, and it was a terrible, terrible beaded. I mean, it was a mess. Versus what a professional, nice, smooth. So go ahead and try to explain. It's hard to explain it without showing it. But
Yeah. So, we call them stringer beads. So, when you're welding, you can run stringer beads with any process, but we learned stick first. So if you're running a stick stringer bead with like 7018, like a 7018 electrode, you just strike up your stick on your metal, and then you really just run a straight line, and then you have it's one bead of weld. It just looks like a nice shiny silver metal line.
nice, smooth.
Is what it should look like.
Yeah.
It should be one nice smooth line.
So was you nervous like when you had to do your first weld, or was you like, oh, this is whatever?
Yeah, well, my boyfriend tried to show me how to weld before I came here, and it was horrible. Could not start it, couldn't get it to work. It was bad. And then I was like, I don't want to go anymore. I'm not going to be good at it. And he was like, you'll be fine. And then luckily, Mr. Oleski is a great teacher. And for the first couple weeks, he really just like holds your hands and like helps you do it. So once we finally had to do it on our own, it wasn't as scary. The first time we did it, and you striked it and like the sparks started flying. It was pretty intimidating. But then you notice you're like covered in leather and like nothing can hurt you.
That's good to ask for that.
Yeah,
Burns.
I got a couple on my arms.
Really?
Yeah,
See, I don't know. I'm a crybaby. If I got burnt,
And that
I'd be
one?
done.
yeah. They're, well, for the first couple months it was fine. Really didn't burn myself. Burnt my finger a couple times because I like forget my metal's hot and I just grab a little bit. But
Well, that could be bad.
oh yeah, first day of school, first day we welded, I really like walked up and like grabbed my metal and I was like,
Ooh.
and then I just like walked it off like it didn't happen. Like he was like, did you
How-
burn yourself?
How
I was like,
bad was the burn?
It wasn't too bad.
So you
luckily I let go fast enough.
passed enough.
Like my brain was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
We're talking like you guys have seen like extreme hot orange metal.
Yeah.
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 It's like-
Luckily I had quenched mine in the quench tank, which is like a tub of water.
Okay.
And then I let it sit, but it takes a while to cool down. So it was sitting, and I just figured it had cooled down by now, and it didn't. But I really didn't have any burns. Like I wasn't like burning myself all the time until we started doing overhead, which is where you're like your piece of metal is like 9 inches above your eye level. So you're like it's literally like all the sparks are falling straight down on you. And I have a leather jacket. It's half leather, half FR. So the tops of my sleeves are nice and leather, but the bottom is just a flame retardant material. And so when I was welding, the bottoms of my arms were up, and I got some sparks down onto it, and it burnt straight through. So I patched it with duct tape because I figured that was the best course of action, and it burnt straight through the duct tape. So I was like, hey, Mr. Oleski, like I don't know what to do. And so he got thicker duct tape and put 2 layers of that on, and then first bead I ran, it burnt straight through it again. So now I have to wear nice, pretty bright green FR sleeves over my black jacket.
So well, now you said the bottom part was supposed to be the flame resistant.
Yeah, the top's leather, so it like can't burn through. But I had my arms up like this, so like the bottoms of my
Oh.
arms were exposed to the sparks.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
that's where it burned.
Mhm.
Okay.
So could you get one that's all leather?
Yeah, you can. They're a little more expensive, and they're really, really hot because like it gets really warm in there. I have an FR jacket, and then I have the half leather, half FR. a lot of the kids in our class have the aprons, which is like it's a top piece that buttons in like in the front, and then you have an apron that just like clips on, and it's like there's no back to it, so it's nice and cool. But the way I weld, I'd burn my back. I don't know how, but I'd burn my back.
Because you were briefly talking about that, like the different angle welds above your head welds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's, you know, and this is a dangerous class. I mean, truthfully, I mean, all kinds of things could go south on you.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
scary.
We've had, if you walk in there, if you walk past our lab every day and you don't hear somebody yell, like you should be surprised. Like we always have somebody screaming. The one kid, the kid burned his foot because he had his jeans tucked into his boots, and it went right down inside of his boot and under his foot, and it was bad. But the thing that surprised me is when we first came here, we had to do 2 weeks of safety before we were allowed to touch anything because obviously it's dangerous. But when we had sophomore career days, the sophomores really walked in and Mr. Oleski handed them a jacket and a hood. And it was like, have fun. And I was like, it was a mess. Like I had like a little girl, she like stabbed through my finger with a MIG wire. And, like I had leather gloves on and she really just like, as hard as she could, like right into my hand. And I was like,
Those little kids are ruthless.
yeah, I was like, please get out of my booth. I was like,
Get out of my booth.
And like, I don't want to do this again.
Oh gosh. And you know, I mean, I remember. I mean, if you have your mixtures messed up, that could go boom.
Oh yeah.
There's some. I mean, you can electrocute yourself with the MIG. There's like.
You can electrocute yourself with just about any of them.
Yeah.
Any of them we have in there, and then if we have our oxy-fuel cutting torches, and we have our track burner, and if you add too much gas to the oxygen,
Boom.
yeah. And what scares me is you have to on the track burner you have to strike it with like a striker, and to like light it, and it pops really loud when you light it, and it scares me. So I like can't do it like my body like I try to and I can't.
Waiting for that boom.
But if you let it if you keep it on long enough trying to strike it, like propane will leak out and that's when you cause a fire. So usually I try 2 times and I yell for somebody else to come do it. Like my friend James, the one that's going to competition, like I was like, James, come light this, I can't do it. That's.
And then you said your boyfriend's into welding too, right?
Yeah, he is a senior at Maplewood Technical Center. In Portage County. He had the classes when he was in 8th grade where he got to weld. So he's now working in a welding shop in Twinsburg.
Wow.
So he gets to he's not the biggest fan of where he works, but he gets to leave school early and go make money. So
That's nice. Do you guys weld anything together?
No.
You're kind of blushing over there.
So like I said, he tried to teach me, and he's like, he's not a patient person. He's not a patient person. Like he's a big guy. He's 6'5". He's a big man, and he's very not patient. So when I'm trying to learn something, he's like, oh my God, just do it. And I'm like,
I can't.
I can't.
Give me a minute.
I don't understand. So like the one day we just like ran some beads on like a thing, and we did it on a wooden table with a piece of hot metal sitting on it, and it like caught on fire, which was like not my fault. I was like, do you really want to use this wooden table? And he was like, yeah, it's the only table we have. It's fine. I was like, okay. And it did end up catching on fire. And then I tried to like go quench it in like this bucket of water, and I dropped it on my foot.
Oh.
So like
it's just
we
bad.
don't weld together. Not very often.
Now you guys can weld little hearts together.
Yeah, it'd be so
You can-
cute.
You can make hearts like you did for the
Yeah.
Valentine's Day thing.
Yeah,
Those were pretty cool.
Yeah, for Christmas, I made my dad one that says, I love you, Dad. It's one of the little hearts. And then I made my grandma and my boyfriend matching ones that have the little heart cutouts on them. They're cute. And then we grinded all of them down and put a finishing like spray on them so they wouldn't rust. Because like my dad works in a machining shop, so it's kind of damp in there. And like if we just left it bare, it would have rusted. So we like sanded it all down and made it pretty.
You ready for our embarrassing story?
Wait. I do have a welding story.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
So no, I told you guys I've lived in Zanesville, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not aware, Zanesville is famous for the Y Bridge. You know what that is.
Yeah.
I
So-
don't travel much, but okay.
All right, the Y Bridge actually goes out to the middle of the river. There's 2 rivers. It's the Licking and Muskingum. That's where they kind of meet and form.
Mhm.
So this bridge goes out and it separates in the center of
Oh, okay.
the river. So that's
So that's
the
why
Y.
it's the Y, right?
So I was in 8th grade, I think. I think I was in 8th grade when they were repairing it and redoing it and talking about underwater welding.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy was, you know, welding, at the foundation, and the 6-foot boulder he was standing on started to move.
Oh God.
It turned out he wasn't standing on a rock at all. He was on a 6-foot cannel catfish. Can you imagine how big that is? I think he'd eat you.
Yeah.
He come flying
It
up.
could easily eat you.
I'll never forget because the news is filled with this guy,
But
and
imagine eating that. Oh, catfish.
he's like, basically, on television, he's like, I crapped myself. It's like the boulder started moving. The guy was still pill white, and he's like, I'm not going back down there.
Nope.
You can't pay me
No.
enough.
But I mean, gosh, they're talk about underwater welding. I mean, ocean. You got sharks. You got all kinds of crazy stuff
Oh
down
yeah, I
there.
didn't even think about that. That's
Yeah.
not for me.
And then
it's
other
not-
dangers, like you were saying.
Yeah, especially like tide conditions.
Oh,
Yes.
When I've been on vacation a couple times and I've seen kids get yanked out by
Oh,
riptides.
Riptides are terrible.
We were in Florida, and they had 2 double red flags up, so we couldn't get in the water.
People
and
are-
2
people-
kids.
Yeah,
got
they don't
in.
listen.
2 kids got in, and they had to go out there on jet skis and go get them.
Did they save them?
Really?
Yeah, they're
Because we had
They
a guy
save 'em.
die. We
Mhm.
were down in Florida. We were in the Gulf, and they had all the red flags up. Riptides, riptides. Nobody wants to listen. Dude, we had 2 people die. Dude, he made it back in. They got him in. He died of a heart attack. Another guy actually got sucked out and he ended up about a mile down from where he was. They found his body.
and that's the thing that scares me. Like
Yeah.
find like if I was underwater welding and I found like a dead body, I think I'd lose it. Like when I was younger, somebody like disappeared at Lake Milton, and they sent out like a search party, and like everybody was like going through the water trying to find this kid, and I was like, that's horrifying. And my uncle's a detective in Alabama, and he's on the dive team,
Oh, yeah.
and like they go down there and like find people or like save people. Usually by the time they get the detective involved, it's not really saving.
Do you know, I
Right.
always wanted to do the dive. And then I started thinking about it. And some of the stuff, I mean, if it was just water that they have to dive in, that's cool.
Mm.
But sometimes it's not just water they got to
Ew.
dive. They dive into everything.
Suet? Like
Oh,
sewage?
yeah. I mean, if you're searching for a body,
Oh yeah, but
you got to dive into it.
at that point, I'm just let that person's gone. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, think of Mahoning River. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to dive into that thing.
Yeah,
That's
ew.
nasty.
Well, did you hear the thing? Apparently, they found a teenage boy from Newton Falls in the Mahoning River a couple weeks ago.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I heard it. I saw it. I saw it on Facebook. So like, don't know if it's true, but like, I asked everyone I know there. I was like, hey, like he was like 15. I was like, anyone know who this is? Like, apparently they're from Newton Falls, and everybody's
But
like, I
nobody
don't know.
knows them?
Nope.
That's
That's scary. That's
But we have a lot of
YouTube
kids that
videos.
do online schooling for Newton Falls since the
Oh.
pandemic, and a lot of people are open enrolled in different schools.
true.
Yeah, makes
So.
sense.
Yeah.
All right, so let's cruise on. That's my underwelding story I wanted to share.
Underwater.
Okay.
That's embarrassing.
All right. Go ahead and share that story.
All right. So my embarrassing story, the star of it is Deputy Mike. On the first day of school, I drove here, and I was already nervous because it was my first day at TCTC, and I didn't know really where I was supposed to go. So I'm driving in, and I didn't see where the speed limit sign changed from 40 to 10.
Oh God.
So I come flying in the parking lot, and the other deputy was sitting up at the front. And I slowed down. Like I didn't like hit the speed bump going 40 miles an hour. I did slow down, but apparently just like a tad bit too late. And when I pulled in the parking lot and I went to park, Deputy Mike pulls up in his cop car, and I'm like freaking out. I was like, oh boy, what'd I do? Like I'm so scared. And I got out of the car, and he was like, you were going a little fast back there. And I was like, oh. I was like, yeah. I was like, I didn't know the speed limit changed. And he really looked at me like I was lying. He was like, you didn't know the speed limit changed? I was like, no, I didn't see the sign. Like, I'm sorry.
I was going 40 an hour.
And I'm like literally like on the verge of crying. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It won't happen again. I was like, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it was.
I did feel bad because she almost did start crying.
I was so scared because like I've had my license for almost a year now, and I have never had any sort of trouble with the
And
police.
she is really a sweetheart. She really
Believe
is.
it or not.
And I wave to her all the time. I was
Every
like,
day
"I felt
when I
bad."
leave.
But no, I do have a job to do.
Yeah.
And your guys' safety is the utmost
I would be
importance to me.
scared if you pulled up in your cop car. Though.
I don't speed in the parking lot anymore. Don't worry. I do not speed in the parking lot.
Like if it was just you walking up to the car, like, yo, you going fast? I'd be like, oh, okay.
No,
But
he
you-
really came and like blocked my car in. Like I was like, does he think I'm gonna run? I was like, I don't know what's happening.
No,
I would
just
be
pulled up.
scared.
Just pulled up.
Yeah, he's like pulled right in front of my car and stopped, and I was like, oh no. And like
See.
there was a Volkswagen Bug parked next to me, and those girls are freaking out. They're like, oh my god, what did I do?
Oh,
And
the
I'm-
silver one?
Yeah, and I like look over at my friend, and I was like, I think I came in too fast because as soon as I saw the cops sitting there, I was like, oh, and like I hit my brakes,
Too late.
but it was too late. He already got me.
But she didn't get a ticket.
I didn't because
You could give out tickets.
I try not to.
Oh, good to know. Good to know.
I mean, I'd be sitting here like writing tickets all day.
Oh,
yeah,
good to
see,
know.
it's just because I was so nice and I got really scared and I almost cried. So he was like,
She almost did too.
it was such a mess. It was like first day of school, like emotions,
you're
like
already
general,
nervous.
yeah, like adrenaline just like rushing, and then
I think we had an accident that day too.
yeah,
Yeah.
a girl backed
We
right
had a
into a
lot.
pickup truck.
Yep.
We had a lot at the
We
beginning of
did.
the year.
I remember.
Listen, you
we-
guys, your class broke the record. I mean,
Whoa.
first week, 4 days, 5 crashes. Like
Crazy.
crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
in our defense, though, the rules of parking kind of make no sense. You're not allowed to back up. No. You have
But
to pull forward.
The thing is, the first day of school, the girl was backing out of a parking spot and really just backed straight into a pickup truck.
yeah,
Like
but
he was already there. He was like sitting there, and she really just like backed straight
Back
into it.
right into
I
it.
was sitting there watching the whole thing. I was like,
I just feel like that's the point that you shouldn't be driving. If you can't back up into a parking spot, like, I don't know. I prefer to back up into a parking spot than to pull into one. Like,
Right.
no.
See, the smart thing to do is to find one that you could pull through.
yep,
so
I
you-
get here early so I can pull
I love
straight
that.
through.
And then
Those
you
are
don't
my
have to back
favorite.
up, and then you don't have to worry about hitting that car behind you.
Yeah, last week I drove my dad's pickup truck to school all week because they were on vacation because my homeschool had spring break. So I drove the pickup truck and I was like, I got to be here early because I can't back that thing in anywhere. Like it's a full-size 2019 Ford F-150. And that's what I learned to drive in.
big.
Yeah, it's a
It's
bit,
big,
especially compared to my little Chevy Cobalt.
Mm.
Like that thing is like this big and like I can like maneuver that thing anywhere. Like I can back that thing up just fine. But as soon as it comes to that truck, I would have to have like the parking spots like either side, like 3 each way would have to be open for me to back it in because I would be straightening myself out like 5 times.
Yeah. So that's her embarrassing moment. I did yell at her on the very first day of school.
No, it's shout out time.
It's shout out time. So,
It's shout out time.
Brian, shout outs, go ahead. You can shout out to whoever you want. You're not limited to one person.
Okay, so first I want to give a shout out to Mr. Oleski for just being great. He's honestly he's like a father figure to a lot of us in that lab. He's just a great man. And then definitely my classmates, Shyla and Haley. They're my 2 best friends. When I first came here, I was not going to talk to anyone, and those 2 bugged the crap out of me until we just became best friends. And along with James O'Neill, first day of school, he came and sat right next to me and would not stop talking. Drove me absolutely crazy.
Why was you going to talk to nobody?
I don't know. I had a lot of trouble at my homeschool with like just bullies, people being rude,
See,
and I just didn't want that to happen. So I was like, I'm just not going to talk to anyone.
a lot of you guys came. I think you come here to get away from that. I mean,
Yeah, I
the
hate
more
my
kids I
homeschool.
talk to,
Yeah, that's definitely a main
Yeah.
reason I came here.
yeah, and it's like it's a new beginning, new people, and
I get to meet so many new people. Like I got to see the same faces at my homeschool.
Yeah, you grow up with them kids. And then when you come here, even the kids that do come with you from your homeschool, they're here because they want to do something with their lives.
Right.
and they're not just messing around in high school.
Right.
Because that's the thing. In my school, we have a really big problem with like drugs and like people smoking and stuff like that at school. Here, we do have problems with it, but it's not nearly as bad because people here, like, they want a future for themselves and they don't want to mess it up smoking in high school.
I mean, most of you actually are here because this is what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that you're doing here, you're here. Most of you, to do that.
Yeah.
So that alleviates, and we get a bunch of better kids. We really do.
Yeah, and it's a slight few. So like you realize like you're picked to be here, so don't mess up because you could be taken out.
No matter what, you can't get rid of that. I mean, for some reason, I don't know why. It's like, dude, you chose to come here and you're dumping it away.
Right.
It makes no sense. You want to give your sister another shout out?
Yeah.
Your mom, dad?
Yeah, so my sister Anja, she is a big role model for me. She's about to have her first baby. My mom and dad are my biggest supporters. We're having a meat stick sale for our welding class. My dad has already sold 100 of them.
Wow.
Because he's crazy. My brother is my best friend, and my little sister is a pain in my neck. But if I leave her out, she's going to get upset. So she's there. She's
there. How old is she?
She's 13.
She's 13.
But she acts like she's like 25. I feel like that's most 13-year-olds these days, though.
Yeah.
Like they all act like they're 20.
Like they're grown for no reason.
And they're not. And then when they need you to do something for them, you're like, oh, I thought you were grown. I thought you did that on your own.
Right.
She's like, hey, can I have a ride? And I was like, drive yourself.
You got that.
I'd like to give a shout out and throw some shade.
Oh God.
Shout out to my mom for listening to one episode of this podcast.
What is it?
And shame on my dad for not even knowing what it was after I told him about it like 10 times.
Oh.
My shout outs go to
Shame.
My shout outs go to my sister and one of my really close friends, Ashley, my sister Kylie. They're both about to have their first babies too. Spring babies. Come on, guys. Bring them in. I'm ready.
You know, I have a shout out. Something very nice happened today. Deputy DeLuga and a parent stopped and gave 2 cards to Deputy DeLuga and thanked him. And it's actually, what camera am I on?
You're on this one over here.
This one? So got a thank you card. You can see that. I can't see what I'm doing over here. But, and it's all handwritten.
Here, what?
Who likes to read? You good at reading?
Hold on. Put it on the guest camera real quick. You want to read it?
Nah.
You can hold it there if you want.
Dear Officer Gear, first let us say thank you for your service. In this day and age, with all the craziness of the last 2 years, being an officer of the law must be daunting. I think that says. We thank you for your steadfastness and dedication to uphold the law. The main reason we are writing this is to just say thank you. Thank you for the work you do to keep the TCC, the staff, and the students safe. Through the frigid winter weather, the rain, the heat, the long days, the cafeteria fights, and the 3-ring circuses that is the traffic, your work is noted, seen, and appreciated. Please accept this as a token of appreciation. We are just 2 parents that want to take this opportunity to bless you. We pray health, blessings, and joy to you and your family. Sincerely, the Hinch and Wallace family. Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacekeepers, for they shall be called the children of God. Romans 13:4. For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath, God's wrath on the doer.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean,
That was a lot.
you know, we
That was a lot
don't
to
get
hold
much
up.
praise often. And I mean, a handwritten thank you.
Yeah, that was very nice.
That is. I mean,
Yeah,
so
that's sweet.
thank you very much for the thank you.
We ready to close up?
We are ready to close up.
This is 22. I'll be out of service.
Peace out.
Peace out. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.